very detailed one-to-one. He's helped one or two members of my family, and he's been a fixture as long as I have been involved with both BNI and its subsequent birth of EBF, for which he was one of the founder members. We all met between Christmas and New Year, and the plan was hatched, fronted by Scott with his wonderful website. He has been very much part of, to use the word, the journey of EBF to where we are today. His contributions more recently as social secretary have been much appreciated. We've had some good dinners, Christmas dinners in particular. So we will miss him. The board will miss him partly because they will lose the opportunity of a squeaky bottom moment when he stands up for 60 seconds. More importantly, when he does his 10 minutes, how informative he always has been and is. And just basically, and most importantly, we are, at least for Thursdays, losing friends. So we decided we'd get him a card and also a little present. So Brian, if you'd like to, well, I'll tell you what, because of your venerability and everything else, I'm going to come to you and the card. Can we have a full round of applause?
Yes.
I've heard on the side of brevity because I know Brian won't. So Brian, we'll miss you all. We hope to continue to see you though going forward. And just before you come back to us, the King is dead, long live the King. Social Secretary, newly appointed, is Mike.
No, it's not.
The reason I used Mike was because we've got another Paul anyway. Paul, seriously, Paul is our new Social Secretary. And by that, may I just ask you, in all events, we don't have to be inclusive with events. If there's something that 3 or 4 people will go along to, that's fine. We want to cast the net as wide as possible, and Paul is there to help you. If you've got an idea, go to him with it. He will agree how you go about promoting it and maximising our idea.
Every event can be Morgan as well.
Well done, Paul.
So welcome to the Fold Ball, and we look forward to lots of exciting social events. So that's me. Before I send you all on your way, Brian, I think you might have a few words.
Yes, thank you very much for your time today, Mike. Yes, network has been a big part of my life, and I genuinely miss the camaraderie on Thursday morning to see people who don't have problems. I mean, that's the need. I'm not complaining about that. It's the nature of my work. It's nice to come and talk to people who say, by the way, I don't so-and-so. So I thank you all for your camaraderie. I shall miss you all. I'm going to still be working. So until you get a new hypnotherapist, sorry if that's me. Once again, thank you very much, all of you, for your friendship. Thank you.
So here we are. The sun is shining. I'm about to send you on your way.
So today's speaker, we have Mike Skinner from Blackwater Media, of which he's the founder and everything else. So he's based in Kelvedon, but basically operates anywhere that's not raining there, and he's been going for about 4 years now. So a couple of things about Mike. Something that a dish that Mike can cook well is Mike's roast dinner. Ooh. Something to avoid though is Mike's lasagna. So don't go for lasagna. A type of music that Mike likes, he likes both types of music, country and western. there, and something that makes him laugh is Brian's 60 seconds that he will miss each week. There. So put your hands together, Mike Skinner.
Hello, just going to talk at you, I'm afraid, for 10 minutes. We're going to have an interactive one, but we might save that for the winter months. So I'm Mike from Blackwater Media, digital content creator, so I do videography, photography and drone content. We founded, as you say, about 4 years ago, and the main focus for the business is on marketing material for businesses and events. So today I'm going to try and pass on some advice that can help you guys create better media for yourselves. But also how to maximise the worth of that media, how to minimise the expense and time needed to create it, and how to tell your company's story and key messages within each piece of media that you put out there. So the main tip for today is going to be create media with intent, something that applies to everything I'm going to talk about today. Before you take a photo, attend a function, event, client meeting, have a good idea in mind about what content you want to take away from it and what you're likely to be used for afterwards. Try not to just take loads and loads of photos and videos without knowing what their purpose is going to be. You can be flexible as new ideas come up during the day, but even then try and run with it a little bit and create a final goal out of that as you're taking that idea further. Have a good idea of your target demographic in mind when you're creating media. If you're pitching to potential investors, you're going to want to be making different sorts of media than if you're reaching out to teenagers as a new client base. Again, create your media with those goals in mind and be aware of that before you start, rather than trying to just crowbar in things that you've made before and you think, oh, that's what I'm talking about. So the classic thing we always talk about is quality versus quantity. One of the big problems that I know all businesses face with social media content is that it's really time consuming. If you come back from a job or something like that you've got hundreds of photos, someone's got to sit down, go through all of those, you might have to edit them, you might have to pick through what's most suitable, and hours just disappear really quickly messing around with these sort of things. So one of the things that I can't drive home enough is just be organised with any media you take, things like that. Don't just leave it all floating around on your phone, don't just take it home and just dump it on the desktop on your PC and say, oh, I'll sort that out tomorrow. Just get into the habit of putting things straight into a forum, going through, going, that's a good photo, that one, delete the rest. Then it's all sorted out and you're done with it. And while we're on that topic, being organised with file names can really help as well, especially for media, but this actually works out for a lot of visual users. This is the setup that I use. Basically, every file is named as the year, the month, the day, then the event or the company name I'm dealing with, and then any little tips at the end of it of something that might be relevant. So if I'm just sort of thinking, oh, I need a photo of something I've done with some happy faces in it, I can go into my folder, search happy faces, it'll bring up any files that have got something like that in it. Or if I'm looking for a specific event, I know it was roughly 2 years ago in the summer, I can straight away go back to that year, that month, see the event name, and find things quickly. So it's just about being a little bit more organised with it. In terms of taking photos and videos on site, again, we really want to focus on quality over quantity. It comes back to that creating things with intent, knowing what it's going to talk about before you set up the day. Who's going to be in charge of collecting the media on the team, what it's going to be used for, and what it needs to show or say, what's going to be useful to you afterwards. Say you may want to make a blog post about a client that's having a heating system leak, and he's having new fittings installed. You've already got probably a pretty good idea of what photos are going to work with that and what you're going to say in the blog. So don't go in there and take 50 photos of the outside of the house, 30 photos of your teammates doing things, another 30 photos of the client looking happy, because you're only going to use 2 of them. So just be a little bit more specific about what you're shooting when you're trying to get things for your media. In other situations, you might want to actually maximise what you get out of the day. So you can shoot a few hundred photos, but just be a bit more conscious. Go into the event thinking, I need photos of our team in front of the trade stand, I need photos of our clients looking happy, and I need the company owner receiving his reward from someone. That means that if you get to the end of the day and go, shit, I didn't get a member of one of our clients shaking hands with someone, you can just go back and set that up and you haven't come home without losing it. You've got something that you're working towards for the day. So for some businesses, you're actually going to have a marketing budget, so you're going to be looking at getting them to do professional media. I'm going to touch on how to go about maximising the value when you do bring in a professional photographer or videographer. This is very specific to each job, so I won't go too far, but just some rough ideas. Try to really clearly communicate your goals to the media professional. People like myself, we've got a good idea of us taking nice photos, we've got a good idea maybe of what your industry does, but we don't know the specifics of what your company does differently, who your clients are, or what the goals of the company are. The more you can tell us about it, the more we can sort of really refine what's going to work for you. A bad request I might get is, oh, I need a video for my website of the company. I don't know what to do with that. Would you want me to just film you sitting there, sort of thing? A really good request is something like, we're thinking about a video showing the journey one of our clients has made with help from our business. We want to target this at an older demographic who might not know about our services. Our aim is to get as many relevant people as possible to reach out to us for more information on it. That gives me a really good idea of like how to target it, how to style it, where to post it, that sort of thing. And it's always a bit of a tricky topic to talk about, but try and have a budget in mind to help us tailor the approach. You can get an advert made for 100 quid, you can get an advert made for £100,000. You're not necessarily getting a great deal on the £100 one, you're not necessarily getting your money's worth on the 100k one. If you've got a rough budget in mind and you're happy to share that with us, it lets us tailor the amount of time we can provide you for that in the best possible direction, rather than saying, I've got this grand idea and we have to spend the next week cutting corners off it to make it suit the budget that you've got available. So what about taking good media yourself, photos and video of your team and your company doing things when you're on sites and putting out products? I'm going to come back to the phrase, I keep repeating, taking photos and videos with intent. What might be an amazing photo of your new cream tea towel, it's completely terrible if you're posting about doing a talking gig up in Cardiff. It could be a lovely photo, but it's not relevant to highlighting what you're trying to get across in the post. So that's the crucial part of a good bit of media, is it needs to tell the story you're trying to get across in the text that you're posting, and it needs to be functional. It's not just a throwaway thing. I'm going to throw in some quick and simple tips. Apologies if I'm teaching you how to suck eggs, but there's some really basic things that people miss that make a massive difference. Before you take a photo or video of anything on your phone or on your camera, please clean your camera lens. Chances are your phone's been in your pocket all day, you've had lunch, you've been working, you've got it out, you've handled it. The amount of photos I see going up on decent sized companies' pages that are a bit hazy, or the sun's got like lines smearing out of it and that sort of thing. And it can all be solved by getting your phone out of your pocket, giving it a wipe on your t-shirt and taking a picture. It makes a massive difference. One of the most important things when you take pictures with cameras is light. And there's only two things you've got to worry about with light. There's natural light and artificial light. Natural light, there's only one thing you've got to worry about, that's the big one in the sky up there. Be conscious, if you're taking the photos, the sun's there, someone's facing into it, they're going to be squinting, not looking very good. If you do it the other way, and they're facing it, their face is going to be dark, so you're not going to see much. So just be a little bit conscious about where the sun is, turn the thing that you can slightly sideways onto it, and you'll get much better photos out. When it comes to artificial light, don't be scared to use it. You haven't got to be a wizard in lighting technology, just basic things, turn the flash on in your camera if you need to. Even better if you can find someone else to stand beside you and hold the microphone or light up. It just looks a bit more natural coming from the side rather than a flash straight in someone's face. And even simpler tips, if you're going to an event or something, you've got your team there, you know you want team photos, you've been put in a really dark corner somewhere in this meeting, don't just try and take something there, just put the effort in, get everyone up, bring them up to the lobby where the lights are quite nice, take a photo there, rather than just posting some crap thing that's really dark and no one's going to be able to make out what you've actually put up on the website. Just a small bit of effort. Probably going to run over this. In terms of framing shots, it's often a good start to just have a quick look at the rule of thirds. And that's just, rather than having your image right in the centre of a photo looking straight at you, just move things slightly to the side and then you can actually put a bit of context around it, what's going on. So that comes back to the idea of telling a story with images. So for example, this one here, the article you're writing might be about this specific lady and her journey and what she's having done. If you'd frame that really tightly around her, you've got no idea what's going on, it looks like some sort of torture device is happening. By just stepping back in it, moving your eye, like, suddenly you can see the whole process going on, and now you've got a nice photo that's going to complement the article about the treatment she's having done. And finally, on the topic of using smartphones for photos and videos, don't overlook resources that you might already have available to you. And I think I'm old enough to say it now, but take advantage of young people that you've got on your teams. A lot of generations there, they've grown up making photos and videos on their phone since they were that high sort of thing. They can knock off a TikTok video with titles and transitions before I put my computer turned on in the morning. So just, you might have to sit them down and give them a little bit of talk about company branding, what's appropriate to post, what sort of general message you're trying to get out there. But realistically, they're likely to be pretty tech savvy and much more aware of what's on trend than a lot of us are, so just use them if you've got them. And it also means they can sit and play on their phones all day and so they're very productive. Last one. Company branding ethos. Don't forget when you're taking photos, what you're actually doing is marketing. It can be simple things like framing shots just to make sure the company logo is included, and just being conscious of small little details within the shot. if you're posting a photo of your team in front of a trade stand, make sure you haven't cut off the end of the website name that's across the top of the trade stand. Because you're potentially throwing away free visitors to your website, and they look at the photo and they can't follow that link just because you haven't moved the camera across slightly. Take the time to make sure your staff are all wearing their branded t-shirts. If you haven't got that sort of thing, give them a balloon with the logo or a brochure to hold. It's just bits of colour and lettering that people are going to quickly spot in the photos. And then more likely to remember it. And people that already know the brand are immediately going to recognise it before they've stopped and looked at the details. And think about what reflects your company image when you're taking photos as well. Are you a fun, vibrant, bouncy group that want to approach every situation with big beaming smiles, or are you a bit more corporate and aiming at reserved audiences? If you're dealing with insolvency or contesting a will, you probably don't want everyone laughing with party hats on and drinks in there. So the two photos here are team shots I took, both for the same company as you can see. They love the cheeky casual fun one at the bottom where they're all messing around a little bit for their website, because that's the vibe of their company. They're a sort of drama and arts company, they want that fun vibe. But they also want some slightly more traditional posed photos to go onto their LinkedIn when they're reaching out for investment projects. Because when you're taking photos, just remember, basically, you're marketing. That's what you're trying to do with the photo. So, thank you very much for your time and interest. Hopefully you've got something you can take away from that. That's what Blackwood's Media.
Stop. Pictures like that, or pictures like that, I know that they both have their place. How much does it annoy you when people do that? To take all the pictures, funky angle.
Oh, if you want to be after, that's called Dutch angle. If you take it at an angle, so that's the liberal, that's stylized. Yeah. What's really annoying, though, is that start the video that way and then turn it that way. Yeah, screws the rest of it.
Yeah, some great smartphone tips there. I use Snapseed, used it for a number of years. Is that still the best out
I
there?
haven't used it, but it's meant to be very good, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people recommend it and talk about it. I don't really do it on phones, but yeah, it's one of the better ones for one out, yeah. Yeah, John.
Where did the name
Basically, I keep living on the Blackwater. I used to live in Malden on the Blackwater, and now I live in Kelvin, literally right beside the Blackwater River. But the only reason I separated rather than being Blackwater, I didn't want it to be completely location specific, so I thought it would break up into Blackwater Media. If you don't know the area in the region, it just sounds like an appropriate name rather than being tied to that.
Do you have different cameras for different type of work?
Yes. So that specifically is a video camera, doesn't take photos at all. Then I've got two photography cameras, and then I've got the more specialist little bits like GoPros and things like that for putting into other places. But they all cross over a little bit, but yeah, they've got.
And do they cost more in your car?
It's quite a cheap car though, so it's alright.
So, a client asked me last week, will I be bringing my drone with me? Because she had a survey done on her house, and the surveyor has a drone. All surveyors have drone cameras these days, apparently. Not all structural engineers do, and I'm one of those. I'm not about to invest in one. How much should I expect? Should I choose to? How much should I expect to pay to have a drone just in my boot, just in case I want to look at someone's roof?
I would say you could get a reasonable setup for about £400, something like that. That's 500.
Underwater photography?
I've got GoPro in underwater, but yeah, it's not something I've really delved into. I don't like cold water. Well, yeah.
You could dive into that, couldn't you?
Where I based in the Bahamas, I might look into underwater photography, but as it is beside the river, not so much.
Have you been asked to do any video work that's not been appropriate?
Asking for a friend.
Neil? So there was talk about some work for adult Essex group, but it didn't
That's us, isn't it?
More adult. No, nothing. I actually had to walk away.
Actually, Mike, we are to some extent, we're adults. Yes, we can.
We go with this.
Well, it's kind of saying thank you very much, Mike, for an excellent presentation and taking your questions.